My pronouns are she and her.
And my pronouns are he and him. So I live in Streatham with my beautiful wife Hannah, and I'm a writer, actor and director.
I also live in Streatham, and I recently left the British Army. So how do we meet, Jake?
Well, obviously I had seen you on the cover of a national newspaper when you were rather naughtily outed for being the highest ranking transgender officer in the British Army, and I thought you were quite attractive, and I saw you on Facebook and thought I'd add you as a friend, and you sent me back a really very keen message about an hour later saying that you'd seen my exploits and had been watching with much interest and that you hoped we'd meet sometime, and then we did.
It was definitely longer than 1 hour, just so you know.
It was an hour and 10 minutes. She played it cool.
We've been together for nearly 3.5 years now. So we met in December of 2015 and we had our first date, and we've pretty much been inseparable ever since. We were, whilst I was still in the army, we only saw each other on the weekends, which was put a little bit of pressure on the relationship. But luckily, about a year ago, we finally moved in together. Now we live together in London. It's amazing.
And we got married a year ago in London, and it was the most beautiful day ever. And then it was on the cover of all the newspapers, and that made it less fun. But still, I'm very, very proud to call this beautiful lady my wife.
Don't get pissed? I don't get pissed.
I mean, for me, I've always had quite short hair. I grew my hair very, very briefly for about a year and realised it was just not who I was, and cut it all off again. I've always had quite short hair, so my hair has got marginally shorter since I transitioned, and obviously my face has grown a little bit longer. Not my face, but my beard, obviously. I've always kind of kept it short and neat.
Yeah, my hair is an interesting story because I was in the British Army whilst I transitioned, so up until the point where I came out as trans, I had a short back and sides, 3 around the back and sides and 4 on the top, and that was it. And when I finally came out and the army allowed me to grow my hair because they recognised me for who I was, it was an interesting journey because obviously you have to grow that out, and there's nothing you can really do to grow out a short back and sides as a female haircut. So there was a couple of really choppy months up front, and then it just got long enough to do a pixie cut, and then when it was literally just long enough, it was about to there, I went straight to the hairdressers and got really expensive extensions put in, which weren't the best things in the world, but they kind of did for about 5 months. I think I had them way longer than I should have done, and then eventually they took them all out, and my hair was just like dreadlocked and knotted, and they like stabbed at it and brushed at it, and eventually they got into some semblance of looking nice, and I had like a little bob, and after that I just kind of started to grow it out bit by bit, and I went a bit longer than I am now because I wanted to see like what I looked like as long as I could think I could go for it, and I was like, that's a bit too much because my hair's quite thin, and then I brought it back up, and this is kind of how I have it now, kind of just around here. But it's a very interesting journey. I've gone through the ringer with my hair a little bit. My hair care routine before I transitioned was shampoo.
Same for me. I like to condition, shampoo and conditioner, and it's the same now, shampoo and conditioner, mostly because I like it to smell nice.
So I obviously now shampoo and condition. I'm still not very good at my hair because for many, many years when other people were experimenting with their hair and what to do with it, I didn't have that experience, and so I was kind of done this as an adult, and so I'm still not very confident in doing things with my hair. I usually keep it very, very simple, quite thin hair that dries quite quickly, so in the shower, shampoo, conditioner, let it dry naturally and brush it out. That's pretty much as good as I get. It's not very exciting, but it's the truth. I found shopping for beauty products pretty terrifying actually, because again, not had a lot of experience in society as a man of doing a lot of kind of beauty shopping, and also at that time you're very conscious of your appearance and how people perceive you, and so being a trans woman in a very feminine space in maybe like an aisle in a shop can be quite intimidating because you're worried that people are going to pick up on you and kind of question you or quiz you. It never really happened, but yeah, it was always quite a stressful experience, and you get there in the end, you do it more and more and you get more comfortable, but yeah, as a trans woman in a woman's space, it can feel quite intimidating because you're so worried about what people think about you.
See, for me it was quite interesting because pre-transition I always used to buy everything in the black bottles, the men's big black bottles, as masculine as you possibly could. And now post-transition I just like all the women's stuff that smells nice. So, you know, the more fruity the better.
So apart from my usual shampoo and conditioner, dry shampoo is a bit of a must for me because I've got this really thin hair and it kind of like gets greasy and goes heavy really quickly, so it's good just to have like one of those little portable ones that you can just like.
And you quite like coconut oil, don't you?
Oh yeah, I put coconut oil in. I really like it because it smells nice, but it then does make my hair look a little bit greasy, so that dry shampoo just makes it a little bit more matte and less kind of flat.
I shampoo, I condition, and then I wax, and that's it. Wax on, wax off. I have always kind of. I mean, I don't have like a particular celeb who's influenced me. I always wanted a beard, and I grew a beard, and I work out a bit, and it just sort of I kind of fell into a style, I guess. And now I feel I finally kind of found my groove.
I mean, my style's changed quite a bit since I came out as trans, because I think a lot of trans women in particular, it's really hard to experiment with your femininity before you come out. It's not acceptable for men to walk down the street wearing dresses, although it's getting better now. And so you kind of have this moment where everyone else knows you're trans, and you can just go, wow, I'm going to try everything. So I did long hair, long nails, like short skirts, high heels, the usual things that most girls do when they're quite young. So I kind of went through this like very high femme stage, and then I kind of, as I got used to my femininity and my body and my kind of true self, I kind of pulled that back and I went kind of a little bit more casual. But I've also always been a bit of a rocker at heart, so I do like my jeans and t-shirt look sometimes. So I kind of come in and out of things, but generally speaking I'm quite cash, but I do like to dress up every now and then.
And we both wear a lot of black. It's a lot of black.
Slimming.
I remember when I was a kid and I used to watch my dad shave, and I always wanted to shave. And you know, you get the kind of fake razors, or I'd use like a spoon, or so I was always kind of trying to shave when I was a kid. And finally, when it came through, I was like, you know, that is it. And for a while, I had it as long as possible. So now I've kind of pulled it back, and you know, I keep it neat and trimmed, and it's just something I kind of learnt, I guess.
A fly?
Yeah, I can feel
No.
something walking down my forehead. Is it one of your hairs?
And that's one of your hairs.
Is it one of my hairs? Okay, good. No flies. I think, you know, keep it neat, but then I like to be neat. You know, I like my hair to be short. I've got really, really curly hair, and when it's too long, then it just goes out, and I end up with like a little puffy ball head. And obviously, puffy ball heads, not for me. And so I have to keep it neat, keep it trimmed. I do a little bit of eyebrow plucking, but generally it's just kind of, you know, simple. For me, simple works. There it is! There was a bug!
Oh, yes.
It's never going to find a flower again. It makes me sad. Anyway, right, next time I'll ask you if there's a bug on my forehead.
I didn't see a bug on your forehead.
To feel confident, I think, you know, obviously my wife makes me feel very confident, and I've really grown into my confidence. When I was growing up, I had really low self-esteem because I knew that I was a boy, and I was told all my life that I wasn't. And my self-esteem, my confidence was literally at zero until I transitioned, and then all of a sudden I could walk down the street and feel comfortable in my own skin. And I've really genuinely got that confidence just from being able to live in a real, authentic and genuine way and be the man who I always knew myself to be. So it was quite wordy, wasn't it? Most people, what's your confidence shampoo?
I don't really know how to top that. I mean, obviously, confidence for me comes like Jake in a very similar way. When you live a long part of your life not being your authentic self, that kind of takes its toll on you. So just being openly yourself gives me confidence, definitely. But also I think working out, keeping a healthy body really makes a big difference. I had some time after surgeries and stuff where I couldn't work out, and my body got into. I'm sorry, I'm bad with hair.
You're so cute.
Like Jake. Living your life for many years is not your authentic self and does take its toll. So just being yourself and coming out and living yourself authentically really does give you confidence. But also I found like just keeping a healthy body really helps. For whatever reason, when I haven't been able to work out, I really find it takes a toll on me mentally. So I just try and keep a good routine of working out, eating healthy, and that does the trick for me.
I think, think, for me as a trans man, there is a big pressure, obviously, to have a beard, to have facial hair, to kind of blend in. I think trans people, particularly if you're a binary trans person, you're expected to fall into that binary and conform and look cis-normative, which just basically means looking like any other guy out there who was born into a body that he felt was his real body. But for me, I've just again kind of found comfort in the body that I have, and found comfort in having a beard. And for me, this is how I feel comfortable. So I feel that there are standards that we are pushed into as trans people, but I think for us, this is just who we've always been. This is just who we are, and this is who we've just kind of, we found ourselves and kind of grown together.
Yeah, as a trans woman, you definitely feel the effects like any woman does of society and how it portrays women. And so when you first start your transition, you feel like an expectation on you to conform to those standards. And so I think that's why I say a lot of trans women go for this very high femme look, because that's how femininity is portrayed across the media. But I do find nowadays that I'm kind of a little less conforming now, and I just try and just be myself, I think.
I wish people had warned you that it's difficult. Transitioning is difficult because my poor old mum, I remember, said to me after I'd been on medical transition for about a year, she said, that she cried for her little girl for many, many months. People treat you differently, you lose some friends. I think that's what I really wish people had really told me, that, you are treated very, very differently by society when you're a woman and when you're a man. And I wasn't really ready for that. In fact, I don't think anyone can really be ready to kind of have that complete shift and that complete switch. So I wish that that's something I'd known a little bit more about.
I think I wish I'd been told, remember, it's not all about you. I think when you're transitioning, because there's all these changes happening to you personally, and it's all about your appearance and your look and how people are treating you, that you can become really self-centered in that time. I know I certainly did, and I wish that someone had said to me, just remember that your friends, your family, your colleagues, they're all transitioning with you, and just remember it's not all about you. And I think that some of my relationships might have gone a bit smoother through that transition process. I mean, it's fine, you come back to it, people understand it, but that would have been helpful advice, I think.
There should be a handbook. We should write one.
Oh God, can you imagine?
It may feel when you start your medical transition that the path ahead of you is insurmountable, but I can promise you that you will get there. Changes will happen slowly. You'll wish you had a moustache, you'll wish you had a beard, you wish you had bigger muscles, you'll wish your voice would drop. You get to that point where you're so desperate for the whole thing to happen so that you can feel comfortable in your own skin. But I promise you, every step is a wonderful journey. Enjoy every moment, because you will get there sooner than you think.
I think my tip would be, don't judge yourself against other people. I think as trans people, we can be really quick to say, oh, look at her, or look at him, or look at them, and see how they are. I want to be like them. But it's all really individual. Your body is your body, your changes will be your changes, and you will get to a place where you feel happy in the end. So try not to judge yourself against other people and just enjoy the ride.
I have been going to Pride for well over 2 decades. I've marched at Pride since I was 16 years old. I've pretty much been every single year, and I love Pride. I love what it stands for. I love the celebration. I love that it brings small children out to finally see thousands of other people just like them. I love that it brings older people out in a real sense of community where they can feel safe to walk down the street holding their lover's hand. I love the community. I love the welcome. I love the inclusivity. And I really, really love being able to walk along the street and hold my beautiful wife's hand and be a proud transgender couple.